Hey, what's up y'all? Blake Snodgrass here. Today, I'm going to be shooting a quick video about the top 4 lethal mistakes that agency owners are making in 2023. Okay, so really quick. I've worked with over 1,000 marketing agency owners over the past 4 or 5 years, okay? We get a little over a dozen, close to 2 dozen applications per day of agency owners that want to work with myself and my consulting firm, Agency Collective, to help them solve specific bottlenecks and constraints and mistakes they are making within their agency. So I know a thing or two about the mistakes that marketing agency owners are making on a day-to-day basis. Now, whenever I look at the applications that we do get for Agency Collective, it's very, very obvious that most agency owners struggle with mistakes and bottlenecks and constraints in a few key areas. There is mainly like lead generation, creating more opportunity for themselves. There is closing that opportunity, so sales. There is fulfillment and account management. The agency owners who are still doing all that themselves need to get it off their plate. Usually these mistakes and bottlenecks fall into a few key buckets. So as we go through my list of these top 4 lethal mistakes, they are mostly going to be centered around those key areas. So let's dive in. Lethal agency mistake number 1, not generating leads for yourself, okay? If you are not running advertising or at least any kind of marketing, this could be outbound. I'm a big fan of inbound, so generating leads from paid advertising, but outbound is like cold emails, cold DMs, or whatever. But if you're not doing any kind of promotions to consistently bring in inbound opportunity, then you're not gonna have conversations on a daily basis. And I always tell agency owners, if you are a sub 20K per month agency or a sub 30K per month agency, if your revenue level is below $20,000 or $30,000 a month, your main KPI, your main goal in life when you wake up every single day should be to have as many conversations with business owners as you can. So if you're not doing anything, whether it's outbound or inbound, to generate more opportunity and more conversations for yourself, that is a lethal mistake for your business. I know you want to focus on softwares and the ad campaigns for your clients and what those things are doing and all the tech stuff. There's so much to get distracted by, but at the end of the day, if you are a small agency who's hungry for growth, you have to focus on generating opportunity every single day. My second point on this topic is this really comes down to practicing what you preach, right? Like we tell our prospects and our clients pretty much every single day that they need to be running ads and generating more opportunity for themselves that way. But are we doing it for ourselves, right? You should be treating yourself like your VIP client, okay? Here's a quick exercise. I want you to ask yourself, what's the minimum amount of marketing budget I would recommend a client that they spend, right? If you're talking to a client and they say, hey, Blake, how much money should I be spending on advertising whenever we have you manage our ads? Whatever answer you give to them, that minimum, ask yourself, are you spending that much, right? If you would tell a client, hey, I recommend spending a minimum of $1,500 per month because that's what it's gonna take to get you XYZ result, are you doing that yourself? Are you practicing what you preach, okay? Also ask yourself, if I was my own client, would I be happy with the results? If I was my own client, am I happy right now with the amount of opportunity and leads that I'm getting? Am I happy with the cost per lead? Am I happy with how much, again, new opportunity I'm generating for myself? These are big like light bulb moment questions you should be asking yourself, okay? I like to tell the analogy of like putting the oxygen mask on first before you can help others. You know, when you're in the plane and they do the demonstration where they tell you, hey, if something happens or experience turbulence or like the plane's going down, whatever, first things first, adults put on the oxygen mask first and then you can help others. It's kind of like the same thing with an agency needing to run ads, generate their own leads, generate their own sales, and treat themselves like their own VIP client. So that way you can actually have a growing and thriving agency that helps other clients, right? If your business is a dying business, you're not going to be around long enough to help other businesses over the next 1 to 5 years. So practice what you preach, generate your own leads, put the oxygen mask on, treat yourself like your own VIP client, and at least put as much effort and maybe even money into marketing that you are telling your clients to do. So here's a quick action item on this topic. Start testing ads for your agency at a low budget, okay? Facebook lead forms tend to work best for us. Use softwares like Leadinforce to handle your niche specific targeting. Study copywriting, make sure you know how to write well converting ads. And of course, just like you tell your clients, call the leads, okay? I actually have a mini course coming out soon on all of this, how to generate your own generation leads for your agency, how to generate booked appointments, how to close those appointments, how to outsource fulfillment so you can focus on sales, all that good stuff. Okay, now lethal mistake number 2. This is not having a solidified niche and offer, okay? So not having a solidified ICP or an avatar or a TAM, total addressable market, whatever it is you want to call it, we need to make sure that you have identified the market you are going after. In my agency, we were going after home service companies and general contractors. That was our bread and butter. And because we knew who we were going after, we were able to write all of our messaging and our ad copy for them. We knew what our market positioning was for them. We were very, very honed into who they were and how we marketed to them, okay? Now, another piece of this puzzle, another piece of this lethal mistake is your offer. I see so many agency owners who are offering too many services. I actually see agencies who are like doing $2,000, $3,000 per month in revenue, like they aren't even doing this full time yet, but if you go to their website, it shows like, hey, we do SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, TikTok ads, Snapchat ads, website design, app development, market research. It just goes on and on. They offer so many services to so few people. In the beginning, what you want to do is create a very, very simple and productized offer. In my agency, we sold SEO and Google ads as a bundle to the same type of prospect every single time, okay? Remember, you can get to 7 figures with one client avatar, one offer, and one client acquisition channel. That's all it takes. If you get really good at that, you can scale up to 7 figures even within a year. So another thing on this topic about your offer and everything is pricing incorrectly and not taking margins into account. So whether your fulfillment is done in-house or you are using a white label contractor, you need to make sure that your pricing isn't squeezing your margins too tight. In my business, our cost of fulfillment while using a white label contractor was roughly 30% or so of my top line revenue. So after fulfillment and marketing budget and paying myself and softwares and paying sales commissions and all that stuff, my agency was still at 30 to 40% profit margins while growing, which is very healthy. And lastly on this topic, I have an action item, okay? So draft out your ICP, draft out your client avatar. Just take a few minutes to write out who is my avatar, like what niche or industry do I serve, what keeps them up at night, what are their greatest fears, what pain points do they have in their business, where would they like to be in their business, what's their attitude like, what type of person are they, what age are they, what gender are they, where do they live? Like really get a picture perfect, crystal clear picture of who your ideal avatar is. So that way, whenever you're writing copy and creating advertising that is going to go in front of them, you kind of have an image in your mind of who that's going to be placed in front of, which will make your copywriting much more effective. In addition, simplify your service offerings and possibly cut some things out, okay? Write out your simplified offer and pricing. That's your action item right now. Hone in on your ideal client avatar and write out your simplified offer and pricing structure. Okay, lethal agency mistake number 3, overthinking systems and trying to get fancy. Now, I'll roll through this really quick, but it really comes down to not overthinking operations until you get to a certain level, right? Now, if you're a 6-figure per month agency, if you're a 7-figure or multi-7-figure agency, yes, you need to make sure that all of your back-end operations and tech and HR, team management, like all that stuff has to be dialed in whenever you get to a 7-figure run rate or greater. But for a lot of you guys who are sub 30K per month, sub 20K per month, sub 10K per month, this really just needs to be, like I talked about earlier, an ultra simple system to get clients and start fulfilling for clients, okay? So a simple system to generate leads. Again, I have a mini course coming out on this soon, which I will post here. It's gonna be dirt cheap, okay? A simple system to generate leads, the ability to call those leads and start having conversations immediately, the ability to have a 20-minute onboarding call for the people that you close, and then having a fulfillment contractor in place so they can start fulfilling the service to the client, okay? Super simple. We need a way to generate opportunity. We need a simple offer and the ability to convert that opportunity into a deal, and then we need to start fulfilling for them, okay? Do you need a website? Do you need crazy funnels? Do you need GHL and all this crazy tech? No, you don't. You really don't need any of that stuff to get to 10, 20, 30K per month. Is that stuff gonna help? Yeah, for sure. Of course it can help. But do you need need it? No. Keep it as simple as possible as you are starting to ramp up, and don't let all the fanciness and all the crazy tech stuff bog you down. Lastly, number 4, the fourth lethal mistake that agency owners are making nowadays is doing fulfillment themselves. Okay, like I mentioned earlier, we talk to a dozen agency owners a day, and the biggest bottlenecks that agency owners tell us about are, number 1, lack of a client acquisition system, and number 2, they're still doing things like fulfillment and account management themselves. Guys, focusing on sales and closing deals and ramping up your agency's revenue is so much harder when you are still stuck in fulfillment. If you are actually fulfilling the service for your clients and spending time babysitting clients and having conversations and doing meetings with them and handling reporting and all that stuff, guys, what time do you have left over to actually close deals and push the ball forward in terms of the sales part of your business, right? Okay, so when it comes to fulfillment, you have to get that off your plate as soon as possible. Now, the question becomes, how soon? What does soon mean, Blake? The thing is, you can get fulfillment off your plate starting with your very first client. Back when I got started back in 2012, 2013, all these amazing white label contractors, the way they operate today, they just didn't exist back then. You guys have it good nowadays. You can literally land a client, partner up with a white label firm who can take that client from onboarding all the way to fulfillment and do a great job and manage everything for you, starting with your very first client. So if I was starting an agency today, I wouldn't wait until I had 5 or 10 or 15 clients and then try to shove all of those clients off to a white label company. I would start with a white label company, starting with client number 1, and just get it in my mind. I know I'm going to be spending about 30% of what this client pays me to fulfillment, starting with my very first client, and just ramp up from there. And like I said earlier, if you're spending about 30% for fulfillment and spending a little bit of money on marketing and advertising, a little bit of money on paying yourself, of course, you want to give yourself a good wage, and then things like software and whatnot, you should still be making 30, 40, in the beginning, maybe even 50% profit margins or more while growing. Okay guys, so that does it for this video. The top 4 lethal mistakes that agency owners are making nowadays: not generating opportunity for yourself, not having a solidified niche or avatar, and then a solidified and simplified offer and pricing structure, overthinking systems and trying to get too fancy too early on, and then number 4, still doing fulfillment and account management by yourself. I hope this was really helpful, guys. I know I have a couple other videos on my YouTube channel that tie into this one nicely. I made a video a few weeks ago, maybe a couple months ago actually, that has to do with how you should go about looking for white label contractors, vetting white label contractors and hiring them, basically what to look for. So if you are making one of these mistakes, like still doing fulfillment and account management yourself, check out that video, okay? Okay guys, so that does it for today. I'll see you all in the next video. Thanks.